Hello everyone, welcome to our CLC today. Today for our client we have a player who goes by the initials TJ. We are not putting his name in for personal reasons, but he did sign the informed consent form in the Part Q form. And TJ, our client, is a basketball player who plays for GCU, is on the intramural basketball team. He wants to increase his vertical and work on his plyometrics. The main reason for he wants to work on his vertical is because he wants to be accessible and more easy jumper and to get more dunks easily. Like what his main goal is because he wants to be a consistent dunker, just like the NBA greats of his that he looked up to as a child, and he always wanted to be best that he could and be just like Blake Griffin, just retired, but. He trusts his coach very much to follow his plan, so he will work with whatever the coach and his instructors tell him to do. He wants to work in the time down in his SMART goal. He wants the training to be at least about 3 months to work in his vertical, so he has less injury during in season. So the client will be mostly working during the off season, and he just wants no injuries as much. The client is a very tall guy. He's about 6'4", about 230 pounds. So he wants to have a workout that reaches his full height and body potential, and he just wants to be the best that he can to reach his full dunking ability, and he trusts his coach in all of this process. And thank you.
For our client, with our testing for his vertical jump, we did the front squat barbell test to look at things like mobility and strength, and then we also looked at the vertical jump test. The front squat we chose because it mimics almost exactly a vertical jump in the different body positions. It's very similar in terms of the hip positioning and the trunk positioning versus something like a back squat where you actually have a lot of forward lean in the trunk. So that's why we chose the front squat. We wanted to actually mimic the movement as closely as possible. And then the vertical jump test was to get a baseline for height that we could compare to later, but also to see if there was any technical issues there. So with the front squat, we had some issues with his hip mobility, and so he lacked hip mobility, which led to him leaning forward onto his feet a lot and not being able to open up his legs when he's going down, so he actually wasn't able to get down far enough. What we did about that was we did a lot of stretches to open up his hips in every direction. We did things like Captain Morgan, shin boxes, and we also did some glute med and piriformis stretches so that we could get more rotation in the legs. And then that actually helped a lot with squat depth and mobility, so that helped him to feel more comfortable with getting down so that he could actually apply more force. And then with vertical jump test, we saw him also leaning forward, so we worked on a lot of hip drive things, such as clean pulls, like clean shrugs, and then we did RDLs that were more explosive and deadlifts and things like that.
For our exercise program, we had 7 exercises, which include the box jump, the front squat, calf raises, squat jumps, step ups, quad extensions, deadlifts, and I'll just give you a brief description of those. For box jumps, it's literally just practicing jumping. Consists of jumping off of both legs, not just one leg jumps per like a layup or maybe a dunk. Our athlete did say that he was a 2-foot jumper rather than a 1-foot jumper. We want to make sure that they land on the box softly, and we can increase the box as necessary as time goes on. For front squat, it's a weighted squat that activates the glutes and quads more because of the weight placement being in the front, and it isolates the lift-off portion of the jump. Calf raises, we're going to power train the gastroc and the soleus for strong plantar flexion. We want these to be heavier weights and on an elevated surface to achieve range of motion. So we're going to start with the foot down like this and then up like that. For squat jumps, it's practicing jumping. They're going to be the quicker kind. We're going to land with balance and stability, and they should be done with weights if needed. Once, after the first set, if we need to make any corrections to the form. For step ups, it's just stepping up onto a box. It's a regression of pistol squats. Not sure if our client can do that, but we'll start with step ups. It should be done with a resistance band and or weight, just to make it harder at the top. And then we're gonna finish the movement once we get to the top of the box. At the end of the up phase, we're gonna finish with as much of a calf raise as our client can give. For quad extensions, it's for extension of the knee. It should be done in working sets with heavier weight. And then we're gonna do holding sets also with lighter weight for endurance and then recovery of the patella tendon and strengthening of that. And then lastly, for deadlift, it's for hip extension. Obviously, there's extension of all three of those joints in the process of jumping, but deadlift should be done with heavier weight at first, and then we will move to RDLs with lighter weight just for functionality and endurance.
I'm here to be coaching our client, TJ here. The goal is fast reactive jumps off the floor for fast rebounds, fast dunks, get backs, everything. So to start off, we're gonna have our feet shoulder width apart, athletic position, knees slightly bent, relaxed hips. From here, you're gonna come down to almost like a quarter squat, not all the way, and exploding up, driving through your hands back. One more time, and up. One more time. Good, all right.